Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. As always, I am Chris Witt. I almost did it again. I'm Chris Witt. With me, as always, Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today?
Terrific. How are you?
If I was any better, I'd be you. Dude, we are – I haven't been here for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I've missed 2 straight weeks of the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. We are back. Not only are we back, but we are back better than ever because we have a guest.
Yes.
Let's get it kicked off, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing started on the Ohio Mosquito Control Hotline. Is Mr. Bobby Nightengale Jr. Bobby, how are you, sir?
Doing good, especially after I experienced Skyline for the first time with you guys. So
hey,
it's been all good since then.
Now, since you've had Skyline, so last week after the 4th of July, we went out. We had a little Skyline chili. We took Bobby out to thank him for all the help he's done with us on the podcast. Since then, Bobby, how many times have you had Skyline chili?
So zero since then. But I've thought about getting it once.
You did think, hey, a thought is good.
That's good.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, the waitress that we had at Skyline Chili wanted nothing more than to get Bobby to have Skyline Chili 4 days a week.
To be an addict like we are, yeah.
She wanted me to make up for the year that I missed out on of not eating it.
She 100% did. There is no doubt about that. She was working hard, man. She's a chili sales lady, and she did her best. It was a good time. Hey, we appreciate you coming on again, Bobby. It's been an interesting first half to the Red season. Right? I mean, like we've had struggles, we've had good times, we've had bad times. Give us a breakdown. What do you think about the first half of this Reds season?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the closeness of the division, I think, makes it the most interesting. I mean, they're still in last place, but you're within 5 games of first at the All-Star break. And just talking to a lot of the players, like Sonny Gray mentioned it this week at the All-Star game, just saying, if you would have told us before the season started that we'd be within 5 games of first at the All-Star break, I think everybody would take that. And so that's kind of how they judge it. The pitching's been as good as it's been since the start of the year. I mean, that's kind of what's carried them this far. The offense has been inconsistent. Some guys have heated up lately, but it's still they're not producing runs like they did in the past couple years. But I think they're encouraged. I mean, just the fact that they still have a chance. They kind of put themselves in position where they can compete with everybody else in the Central.
Absolutely. So, who's your first half MVP for this team?
Luis Castillo.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty easy. So forget first half MVP. Who's the not comeback player of the year, but the surprise player of the year? Who are you most surprised in the first half of this season? Is it a Dietrich? Is it Puig? It's not Suarez. Who's your most surprised?
Yeah, it would definitely have to be Derek Dietrich. He cooled off, obviously, in the last month or so, but just the fact that, he's going into the All-Star break with 19 home runs, going into the season, everyone kind of thought, he'd be a good bat off the bench, but I don't think anyone saw just the tear he had. He single-handedly won a few games for the Reds just with the offense he created. It seemed like, that first month of the season was like every time he had a home run, it came in a big moment. It was like a go-ahead homer or game-tying home run. So that's probably the biggest surprise. Just everyone knew when they signed him that he was a good hitter, but I don't think anyone, when Scooter got hurt, that he'd be able to fill in as well as he did in Scooter's absence.
And the guy's been able to play every position on the field. I mean, he's filled in at second, he's filled in right, he's even played a little center, left field. That is probably what has made him my MVP. Not just his home runs, but just the fact that he's been able to fill in where needed.
Yeah, I mean, his reputation coming in was that he wasn't a good defender. I mean, that's one of the main reasons the Marlins didn't keep him, was just because they're in a rebuilding process and wanted to start young, but they just didn't feel like he was a defender that could stick around. And with the Reds, that's something he's been working on and he prides himself on. And, the numbers he has defensively have improved, and, you can see it in the outfield. He doesn't play a ton out there, but second base is where he's kind of really made strides and really turned himself into, kind of like an average defender, which There's all the Reds needed next to Jose Iglesias.
Yeah, and since Scooter Jeanette's been back, it seems like Dietrich's played a little bit less. Is that gonna continue in the second half? Are they gonna find a place for him somewhere in the lineup most days, or is his playing time just gonna decrease because they're getting healthier?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things where they'll play it by ear. I mean, I still expect him to start a little bit more against right-handed pitchers. Maybe he'll play a little bit more left field and and split time with Jesse Winker, stuff like that. But he definitely is one of the guys that's going to lose playing time just because of Scooter's return, and they want to give Scooter regular at bats just because of his track record and the type of hitter he is. He makes the lineup better too.
Sure. And I think that's what makes the second half extremely interesting is the fact that you got Scooter back, the fact that you got a lot of guys really starting to hit the ball in Puig and Votto. But the real question is, everybody wants to know, is this bullpen got enough in their arms to keep it going for a second half of a season?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question. If you talk to scouts, they have concerns just because the Reds played so many one-run games in the first half of the season. It was like, okay, you use all those top guys so often that eventually, you're going to get worn down a little bit. I think the All-Star break came at the perfect time for them because you could tell just the last week they weren't themselves. Gave up a lot of runs in the past 6 or 7 games. But, I mean, it would be interesting to see if they add a reliever at the trade deadline. I think that'll be something they definitely look at. Otherwise, it's something that's going to decide whether they stay in the, within 5 games of the top of the National League Central or whether they fall back a little bit.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Are you hearing anything about whether, now, of course, at this time of year, everybody's figuring out, are you a buyer, are you a seller? Where are the Reds as far as that goes? I mean, they're in last place, but they're in a position that they could still compete for a playoff spot. Are they far enough, but they still have a lot of teams to jump over? Are they in a spot where you think they're going to make a move to try to improve, or are they going to try to get something for a Dietrich or a Puig or somebody like that?
I think they'll try to add if they can. I think this next 2 weeks will determine a lot. I mean, obviously, if they're 10 games out and 2 weeks from now, I think that changes a lot of things. But I think at worst they'll stand pat and they'll keep a lot of these free agents because they do have a lot of guys that'll be free agents at the end of the year. So I think at worst they'll stand pat if they're kind of in this range where it's like 4 to 7 games out of first place. And if they have a chance to add, they'll look to add a reliever, maybe an extra outfielder. If they do add, it'll be someone who's under contract for the 2020 season.
Right, it would have to be like that, right? Because they've got so many guys on this team that are 1 year players, or they're only under contract for this year, and so. Do they really need another outfielder? I don't know where that's at because Phillip Ervin is playing out of his mind when he gets a chance to play. Mm-hmm. And then besides that, do you really want to add another guy into this? Because most people you're going to get right now are only guys that are either free this year. Most people aren't letting go of guys that are going to be available or under team control for an extra year or two.
Yeah, I mean, I see there's a dilemma that they have a little bit that, they want to win this year, but they also, I'm sure they, if you gave them truth serum, they'd be like, we have a better chance at competing next year. I mean,
exactly.
It's hard to become a World Series contender in the 2019 season. So I could see them parting with a prospect if it came to, depending on the outfielder they could add. It's just one of those things where, every position you can still get better. You look back at the offseason, they had Tucker Barnhart, who had a good 2018 season, and Kurt Casale, and, a good catching situation, and you saw the rumors where they went after JT Realmuto. So, I mean, it's one of those things where they'll keep looking to add if they can make the team better for 2020. But I do think there's a nice balance where, you can't give up too much of give up in 2019, but you also don't want to hurt anything in 2020 either.
Right, it's got to be the right fit. I mean, it's this team is we're still rebuilding. There's a lot of young core that you want to rebuild around, but at the same time, you want to win this year. So obviously, or else they wouldn't have all these 1-year contracts that they could possibly get rid of at the deadline. Are any of those guys? Are any of those? You said prospects. There could be a prospect or two that's possible. Are any of those guys you think in danger? Any of these 1-year contract guys?
I think you'll see a little bit of interest in Tanner Roark, just because he's a dependable starter.
I like that.
I could see teams having interest in Puig. I just can't see the Reds parting ways with Puig just because he's such a big part of this team, and they are going to try to make a push. I mean, the division's just so close where I think they'll hold on to Puig for sure.
So do you think they're going to offer Puig a contract at the end of the year?
I think they could, but I think the numbers that Puig has in his head is going to be way higher than what the Reds are going to offer.
Right. So if you got an idea on that, if that if you're thinking it and we're thinking the same thing, that the front office has got to be thinking the same thing. So that's got to be one of your top guys to be looking to move, right?
Yeah, but then it also comes back to you're 4.5 games out of first place. You go on a 7-game winning streak.
He's the hottest guy on your team.
Place. Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's had a great month. I mean, the month of June, he was one of the top hitters on the team. So it's a tough thing. I mean, you trade Puig. I mean, it's not like you're waving the white flag, but you're making your team worse, which isn't doesn't sit well with fans. Won't sit well in the clubhouse either.
Are you making your team worse? Listen, we all love Puig. Bobby, I told you when we were sitting out there at lunch the other day, I'm a huge Puig fan. That's my guy. Like the energy he brings to this team, I love every bit of it. He's not dogged anything. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's absolutely killing the ball right now. But at the same time, if you get rid of him, bring in another prospect, and you're able to put Dietrich in left, and you have Phillip Ervin, Jesse Winker, and who am I missing in the outfield? Senzel. If you got those 4 guys that can play the outfield, and I know where Dietrich stands in that defensively, but if you got those guys who are all hitting the ball pretty well as well, what are you really hurting your team by getting rid of Puig? Has he got that much energy, that much leadership?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely brings the most energy to the team. I mean, he's probably the most energetic, one of the most energetic guys in baseball. I just think, defensively he's been really good. You see his arm. Players, opposing players respect it. A lot of guys don't even try to run on him. Puig will joke, like, try and waving him on to second base, hoping they'll try.
I love that.
But you've seen, like, in the past, like, Phillip Ervin's been up and down this year. I don't think that would happen if they thought he was an outfielder for the future. Jesse Winker, he doesn't have a ton of at-bats against left-handed pitchers. So they see him as, a right-handed pitching type hitter, just as a lefty.
Right.
Derek Dietrich has struggled over the past month. So I do think you'd be a lot worse off if you do trade Puig. I think it would be a big difference.
Right. So the trade deadline is 3 weeks from today, on July 31st, and I think you said it best. It's gonna really break down to what happens over the next couple weeks. Now, yesterday was Tuesday. You were at the very first All-Star game you have ever attended, correct?
Yeah, as a reporter. Went to one as a fan.
Okay, you did go to one as a fan. Okay. So your first one covering as a professional, what was your take on really the entire weekend/week?
Yeah, it was a cool event. Just Cleveland had a cool crowd kind of the whole time. The game itself wasn't any crazy moments during the game, but the Carlos Carrasco stand up to cancer. That tribute
cool.
was kind of chill inducing. Just seeing him get kind of the ovation he did. You saw Mike Trout and Tommy La Stella wear Tyler Skaggs' number, who died a week or two ago. So those moments were cool, and just hearing all stars kind of talk about other all-stars. I always think that's cool, just to see what the top players in the league think of other top players. And that's a lot of guys threw a lot of compliments toward Luis Castillo, which Reds fans know how good he is, but just hearing some of the top players in baseball talk about he's one of the top 2 or 3 best players and pitchers in baseball. I thought it was cool to hear.
Yeah, I saw that you reported that JD Martinez had something pretty nice to say after striking out against him. Yeah, yeah, that is really cool. So what was I went to the 2015 All-Star Game here in Cincinnati, and I felt this way.
So jealous of that, by the way.
And I feel like most people feel like the Home Run Derby is more exciting than the game. Was that your experience?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it on TV, but in person, I've always thought it was, a great event. And this year, it probably looked better on TV just because you had that Vlad Guerrero, Jock Pedersen. It was went to a triple tiebreaker, and just the competitiveness in that.
That's the coolest. That's the coolest thing that has ever happened. Like Todd Frazier going crazy, yelling at his brother to speed the pitches up was the coolest thing I ever saw. What happened the other night? Was it 2 nights ago with Vlad and Peterson was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. At the same time, you really think it's better in person than on TV?
Oh yeah, just you just can kind of sense the moment a little bit better. Although I liked Chris Berman when he was calling it, just the classic.
Sure, yeah.
His calls.
I've never been to a home run derby, so I can't say you're wrong. I've only watched them on TV.
I just hear a lot of people mention. Obviously, I wasn't here in 2015, but just people say the Todd Frazier moment was top 3 or 4 moments in the past 20 years. Just the crowd reaction and just and that says a lot. Just that it's a home run derby moment that caused that type of people to feel that way that have been around the team that long.
It was really cool, and the funny thing is, the only reason that is better, because Pete Alonso won it the same exact way that Frazier did. He had to hit one more home run than the guy, he went second so in the finals, so he had to hit a specific amount of home runs, and he got it pretty close to the end of the time. So
he still had it 30 seconds after it.
That's true. That's
so he had plenty of time.
He did have plenty of time. But it was kind of the same thing. He went second, so he had to hit his home runs or whatever. But it was in Cincinnati, and Frazier was on the Reds at the time, so that's the only difference. But yeah, well, I mean, we talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Jock Peterson. And those two, those were the most talked about guys the next day, but neither one of them won it. So that was kind of funny.
It's like Josh Hamilton. He hit that 30 home run round.
Yeah, the 28 home run round. Yeah, and he didn't even win it. Exactly. So my question for you: should it be? Because me and Adam are going to get into this after we hang up the phone with you, because we were texting back and forth during the home run derby, and. Before I tell you either of our stance on it, do you think they should just do, all right, everybody hits in a round, top 4, make it to the next round, top 2, make it to the next round, and then go head-to-head? Or do you like the head-to-head, each individual head-to-head round? So basically...
I'd probably say the top 4.
Really?
I'd go that way.
Oh, I'm gonna let it out that I love head-to-head, 4 groups head-to-head. Winner of each moves on. I love that. Adam was so it was like a 4-paragraph text that I got about how he didn't like it. He could have wrote an article for the Enquirer.
Not as well as Bobby could.
Exactly.
The only reason I feel that way is because after the Vlad and Jock, that tiebreaker that went on forever, they still had to do the other semifinal, which was Alonso and Acuna from the Braves. And the crowd was just so zapped out of energy. It was just
That was my other question.
You almost wanted to see Vlad hit again.
So being there,
semifinal.
Being there, because to be honest, the most impressive out of all of the home run derby guys to me was Acuna Jr. He was the most impressive because of the fact that he was hitting them out wherever the ball was pitched. It didn't matter. Right field, left center, dead center. It didn't matter. That was the most impressive to me. But that poor guy had to go after the greatest head-to-head matchup in home run derby history.
Yeah.
So when you're at the stadium, could you just feel like, I mean, you had to feel like what Acuna Jr. was doing was amazing, but it was nowhere near what those two were doing. Like, could you feel the difference?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Vlad was the most hyped by the crowd, besides maybe Carlos Santana, who lost in the first round, but just being a hometown guy.
Mm-hmm.
But besides him, it was just like Vlad was just hitting him so far, and he made it look so easy when he was hitting home runs. I think he ended up with like more than 90 during the 3 rounds.
I don't even
so, I mean,
know. It was so
an
stupid.
incredible
It
show.
wasn't even funny. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's my thing with the whole how it's set up is Jock Peterson should have been able to move on to the next round after that performance.
But he lost to Vlad Guerrero.
But that's the thing.
Vlad was the 8th seed. He was the 8th seed. What are you going to do? It's just stroke of luck that dude went nuts.
Just the simple fact that a guy can hit 30 home runs in a round and a guy can hit 8 home runs in a round, and the guy that hits 8 can advance and the guy that hits 30 doesn't because the guy he went against hit 31. I just don't like that. I don't know.
Bobby, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I would at least do it the first round that way. I mean, maybe you could pair them up afterwards, like the semifinals and finals. But
you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, where you take all 8 guys, top 4, and you split them up between that way. So best guy goes against worst guy, hits second. Third guy hits first. Fourth guy hits first, third guy hits second. I'm good with that. I'd be okay with that. But to not do any at all head-to-head matchups at all, that kills me. That's what makes this new. That's part of what makes this new format so great.
Also, I think the timer has been cooler than I thought it would be. You know, it used to be like 10 outs.
Yeah, that is the number one thing that has changed everything.
Yeah, just because you don't, everyone's looking at the clock as well with the homers instead of just. So some of those guys would go on runs where it's like 8 or 9 home runs in a row, and it's like, okay, nobody's going to catch him.
Yeah.
But I feel like the timer's been a game changer.
So tell me this. So you were there. You were probably in the press box, I imagine, correct?
Yep.
So you got a pretty good view of everything. So you can see the young man in the umpire's uniform standing behind home plate, who in the day for the last 2 years, or 3 years, I guess last 3 years, would hold his hand up until the ball landed, and then would point his finger and say, go ahead and pitch. And if you pitched before that, it was supposed to not count. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. It is what it is. It's the Home Run Derby. Who cares? This year was a little different. He was holding his hand up, but given the finger to go ahead and pitch.
Given the finger?
I mean, not the bird, but the finger, to go ahead and pitch before the ball landed in the outfield. Was there some kind of new rule that we didn't know about? Because even the guys announcing it didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the rule, and there was the umpire did kind of do the same thing, but it was just like it was. I think it was Pete Alonso especially. He was like the one guy that was like. He'd have 2 fly balls that were in the air at the same time.
Yeah. Just go. Hit. I say hit, man. Just rapid fire. If you're going to wear yourself out, rapid fire that thing, dude. Let's go. What's the point of that guy? Really? What's he doing? Is it a safety precaution for the little, 12-year-olds in the outfield, or what's even the point of that?
I mean, it's supposed to be just, just to make it fair, so if you hit one, foul or something, you can't just go straight to the next pitch, but I agree with, you should just do rapid fire, and if a guy gets worn out with a minute left, that's kind of on him.
That's on him.
That kind of happened with Acuna Jr. I think he had like 5 seconds left or something in one of the rounds.
Yeah, he
was
walked
just
off.
done.
I don't know if he was wore out or he just realized this is ridiculous what these guys did before me, and I can't hit a ball 440 feet, so I'm not going to get an extra 30-second bonus anyway.
Yeah, I don't know how you try to follow that one up. I mean, it was just you could tell the energy of the crowd too just died down so much after Vlad Jr. won that semifinal one.
Yeah.
So are you? Did you already come back? Are you still in Cleveland? Doing any sightseeing?
I drove back this morning.
Okay. Go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or any of the other stuff up there?
No, I wanted to, but I covered the Futures game on Sunday, and that would have been my day to go Sunday night. So I missed that chance, but hopefully next time I'm in Cleveland.
Going to Colorado?
Yeah, I'll leave for there tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Now, real quick question for you. So, when you travel to Colorado, do you travel with the team, or are you taking your own flights? How does that work for sports riders?
Yeah, never with the team. It's I'll be on a Southwest flight. I forgot what time it is, but sometime in the afternoon.
You know what? I love Southwest. They don't give you a seat. You just get in line. You know, make sure you book yourself early enough, check in early enough. You can sit wherever the heck you want.
Exactly. No bag fees.
Bag fees. You just go up.
I always fly Southwest if I can.
I like it. Prop yourself up against a window before everybody else gets on the flight, and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Get the drinks and peanut or pretzels on the flight.
That's right. That's right. What's the drink of choice on a Southwest flight? Drink of choice.
Oh, I'm a ginger ale guy.
Definitely. Ginger ale. Wow, that is. I'm going to tell you something. That is my least favorite flavor of anything in the world.
I haven't had ginger ale in like 30 years, but I should try it. I feel like I might like it now.
I feel like I didn't have it until like maybe a year or two ago, and now I do it every flight. I used to just do water, and then I was like, you know what, I should do a real drink. And
a little flavor, sure.
Get you some ginger ale. Why not? I like it.
Mix it up a little bit.
There you go. All right. So what's the next? What's the next first for Cincinnati that I'm going to do for you? I want to do something new for you. I want to do so. I'm going to take you somewhere. We want to get you out. We want you to fully enjoy Cincinnati. The Nosebleed Sports Podcast wants to make sure we got you to Skyline.
You did, yeah.
It was a hole in the wall Skyline down in Covington, but hey, it was a Skyline nonetheless. But at the same time, what's the next thing that you've heard about Cincinnati that you've never done?
It's a good question. I'm not sure.
Hey, you been to Frisch's?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I'm not a fan.
No? But was it breakfast, or did you have like a big boy, or what'd you have?
Yeah, I think I had a big boy.
Okay. Have you been there for breakfast?
No, I haven't.
All right. Well, you do that on your own time. Do that on your own time. Hit yourself.
Overrated.
Overrated.
Wow. Overrated.
Okay. Let's see. What else is there? La Rosa's. You've obviously had La Rosa's.
Yeah.
Okay. What other Cincinnati deals are there? White Castle. You've obviously had White Castle. It's just like a crystal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Graders.
You've had Graders, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Talked about that.
So good for you.
You've had Geta. We talked about that too, right?
Yeah, Skyline was kind of my big missing piece.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think about Geta? I always like to know what people think about Geta.
I liked it in small doses. I went to the Geta Fest on the Newport side last year.
A little too much?
It was like, after a while, it was just like, I liked the first taste of it, but then it was like, you keep eating it, and it was like, okay, it's a little over the top.
Yeah,
but
why are you having an entire festival for this one food?
Yeah.
Because it's so delicious.
Whatever.
I think I got a donut or something. It was just like, it was a little over the top.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, Bobby, man, once again, as always, we really appreciate everything you got for us. Helping us out with the Reds beat reporter for the Cincinnati Enquirer. If somebody wants to check you out on the tweet box, how do they get a hold of you, brother?
Yeah, at my last name, Nightengale, and then JR at the end.
Nightengale Jr., there he is on Twitter, and great follow on Twitter. He's got phenomenal, he does a phenomenal job for the Enquirer. Check out all his stories.
Cincinnati.com, right?
Yep, correct.
There you go. Thank you very much for joining us, Bobby.
Yeah, fun as always. Thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Hey, and I'm going to find something in Cincinnati that you haven't done, and we're going to go do it.
Yeah, I've got to find a list somewhere where it's like famous things to do in Cincinnati. I'm sure there's a few.
We can throw some axes. Even if we just go throw some axes or something, you do whatever you got to do.
Yeah,
right? Isn't there axe throwing in Cincinnati now? Don't you throw axes now? Isn't that the thing to do? I don't know. I'm just kidding. Anyway, but yeah, man, we appreciate it, and enjoy the second half. We will definitely get a hold of you again and find out what you think about the second half of the season.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how they play. So.
Me too.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Bobby Nightengale, everybody.
I'll tell you what, man. Every time he comes on, he does a phenomenal job. The guy knows his baseball. He knows his Cincinnati Reds. He does a heck of a job. Check him out. Cincinnati Enquirer, Enquirer.com. Cincinnati.com is actually what it is. Nightengale JR on Twitter. He posts all his articles up there. He's a phenomenal follow. He keeps you updated on the Reds, and he has now had Skyline Chili.
Every time he comes on, I feel like I follow the Reds pretty closely, and I have a pretty good feel for what's going on. Every time he comes on, he tells us something that I didn't know or didn't expect. Very, very, very helpful for me.
Very helpful for me as well. And I'm really interested in this team because, Bobby was talking about, will they get rid of a prospect to possibly bring in a reliever or this, that, and the other. I just more see this team doing not nothing, but kind of holding packed. They're not going to get rid of, I don't see them getting rid of a prospect, and I don't see them getting rid of anybody that's, a big part of what this team is now. I don't know what parts they're ready to get rid of or not get rid of. I just see a real ho-hum trade deadline going by in the Reds world.
Yeah, I mean, if they go 2-8 in their next 10, it's gonna be different than if they go 7-3.
That's true. It's once again, if they go 500 like they've been doing for the last, what was that? At one point in time, they just a week ago, they were like 30-30 in their last 60, 20-20 in their last 40, and 10-10 in their last 20. They were just playing 500 ball, and that unfortunately and fortunately keeps you in the division talk. Not only that, but it keeps you in the wild card race. So
it does just enough to tease us.
That's exactly what it is, just enough to tease you. So, all right. So to start off, let's go ahead because we didn't get into in the beginning of this is the fact that I have not been here for 2 weeks. Adam, first off, phenomenal job on your own 2 weeks ago.
Thank you.
You did a great job. My favorite part of you doing the podcast is the video of your eyeballs. Mm-hmm. It's just your eyeballs with a microphone in front of your face. I love that. That's probably my favorite part of you doing the podcast on your own.
Yes. Well, I have to speak directly. I don't have a great expensive microphone, so I have to speak directly into the thing. So sometimes I try to have it so that you can see at least half my face, but yeah, I know what you mean. It was covering up. It covered up this nose. It's a pretty good sized microphone.
I don't know if it would have got mine, but it might have got yours. It definitely got yours.
No, it was fun. It's way more fun to do it with you than by myself.
I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it on my own.
You could easily do it on
I'm
your own.
I'm going to tell you right now, it would have been a 20-minute podcast, and I would have been done.
Well, that's what I planned on. I thought this was going to be a quick thing. I was just going to go through a few
you knocked
things.
out a good hour and 20 minutes,
and
man.
It was.
You did a good job.
You start going, and you just keep going.
It helped to have a fat head in the background.
It did.
How do you have a fat head of your brother?
He got that for me for Christmas 1 year.
That's phenomenal.
Like I know.
I'm getting you a fat head of myself.
I want one. Please do that. I want
if
one
I can
so
just
bad.
do a fat head of my nose. Anyway, so Adam, if anybody wanted to get a hold of you on the Twitter, as they would Bobby Nightengale Jr., our first guest earlier today, Reds Enquirer beat writer, Nightengale J at Nightengale JR on Twitter. How do they follow you, sir?
I would be at Adam Schmidt 44.
There you go.
Almost forgot it, actually.
Well, I don't know how you can. It's the same thing on everything, right? The same thing on Instagram?
Yeah.
It is. It's the same thing because...
It might be underscore 44 or something.
I just downloaded the old Instagram the other day.
You just got it, eh?
Yeah, download the old Instagram. Listen, I'm like a social media, I don't know, monarch. Is that a word? Like a social media. That's like a social media king, right? I'm like the social media Kim Kardashian of the sports world.
Except you joined Facebook a year ago, And you
still have
joined
not
Instagram
officially-
a few days ago.
Somehow we got to figure this out. So we are the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. We have a Nosebleed Sports Podcast Facebook page in which you could catch us live every Wednesday right around 10:30 p.m. And somehow it has become my like personal Facebook page. I don't know how this happened.
Vacation pictures on there, right?
There's vacation pictures on there. There's like pictures from Christmas. I was at an engagement party in which I was rolling on the floor for Rolling on the River and Tina Turner, and I was singing Vanilla Ice. Somehow all of that got on there.
Wait a minute. You just snuck the words Tina Turner in there, and that didn't make any sense to me. Whoa.
Tina Turner, rolling.
Is that Tina Turner?
Rolling on a, she sang one of the versions, yeah.
Huh.
But when we play her, we just jump on the floor and start rolling, dude. That's what you do. So somehow, I don't know if there's a facial recognition. Somebody told me there's a facial recognition, and there was a picture taken of me once, and ever since then, when a picture, if you take a picture. This is what creeps me out about Facebook. This is why this is why I don't do FaceTube. I can take a picture of you, and it says, hey, do you want to tag Adam? I'm like, how do you know that's Adam? They just know, man. It's, Big Brother checking down on us.
You might be joking a little bit about that.
That's legit.
I
That's
am
how it
hearing
works.
more and more just in the last week about Facebook and how they are able to see and hear things, and it's it is
all
freaky.
of them. They ask
It's
they ask if they can use your microphone. If you say yes, then you're going to be talking. I'll be talking to you about Bobby Nightengale Jr. Next thing you know, on FaceTube, we'd be like, "Hey, follow Bobby Nightengale Jr. CincinnatiInquirer.com or something like that."
Yeah.
So, speaking of, do that because it's a great follow.
Yep, sure is. I'll tell you what else is a great follow on Instagram and especially on Facebook.
Yeah.
Is Training Personally.
I agree.
Training Personally. No matter your level of fitness, wherever you're at right now in your life, if you like to be challenged, maybe a little bit challenged, maybe you're mostly self-motivated, or you need somebody there to kick you in the rear and get you going, and you want the benefit of working with a personal trainer, but you don't want to have to pay the expensive cost of one, Training Personally with Peggy Edwards is the gym for you. Training Personally is interval circuit training, 40 seconds on, 20 off, 15 off, I think, actually, for all levels of fitness with a personal trainer, Peggy Edwards, at your pace, on your time. Peggy Edwards always changes up the workouts. It's circuit training, but she's going to change it up. You're never going to go back. You're never going to go there 3 or 4 times in a week and do all the same thing every time. She mixes it up. She keeps everything safe. Keeps it fun. Her personality is going to alone make you come back to the place. Check out Training Personally on Facebook or trainingpersonally.com.
I completely agree. It's a phenomenal gym. It's a phenomenal place to be. She's a great trainer.
She's excellent. She knows what she's doing. Now, you may have something else, but before we get to that, I want to know, you had an experience at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles recently.
Oh, yes, I did. And my experience is brought to you by the Ohio Mosquito Control, which also brought you Bobby Nightengale on the Ohio Mosquito Control hotline, where at Ohio Mosquito Control they offer the quality services to the Cincinnati area at reasonable prices, family owned and operated. They keep mosquitoes out of your yard. First time they come in, they're going to get rid of your mosquitoes, but they're not going to get rid of every bug because we need bugs, right?
No, I don't need bugs. I need bugs all dead.
You got to have bees, right?
I need all bugs dead.
Honeybees and things like that are going extinct. They ain't trying to kill nothing extinct. They ain't trying to kill nothing off. They just want to get rid of them things that pest you. And at Ohio Mosquito Control, ohio-mc.com, they will take care of all of your mosquito control problems. They will they shoot you an email with when they're going to be there. They shoot you another email with the bill when they're done. It's easy in and out. And basically they just make sure that you're not going to get 1,000 bug bites all over you.
That makes for an awful summer. When you go outside one time and you have bug bites for a week or 2 weeks or something like that, then you finally clear them up and you go back outside again, and it happens again.
My kids get bit so bad that they scratch and break them open, and they got scabs and everything else.
And it's 90 degrees outside. It feels even worse when that happens.
I got the babysitter on Ohio's mosquito control. I got the in-laws on Ohio mosquito control. I got the outlaws, or my mom and dad, whatever you call them. I got them on Ohio mosquito control. I got everybody. We got them all. Everywhere my kids go, that yard's being sprayed, and my kids have not had a bite this year. Thank you so much to Alex and Jason. You guys are amazing. Ohio mosquito control. Ohio-mc.com. Check them out. They are the pest of the pest.
Okay, so now I want to know about your experience. Everybody has an experience at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles at some point in their life.
Here's my thing. Let me just tell you this. All right. You've been to the BMV, correct?
I have. Correct.
Give me your first thought. When you think BMV, what do you think?
Long line.
Long line. Wow, man, we did not practice this. That was the perfect answer. So I walk into the BMV. I got 3 kids with me. All right. I have 2 3-year-olds, fresh 3-year-olds. I have 1 fresh 6-year-old. We walk in, and immediately there is a long line. Imagine that. You know what I did? I walked into the line. Kids sat down in front of me, kind of playing. They were phenomenal. My kids were great in this line.
Beautiful.
So what I did, that's not the point. The point is, I watched every person that walked into this line. Every single person that walked in looked at the line and rolled their eyes and went, oh. Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen when you go to the BMV? You think you're just going to walk in, nobody's going to be there? Like, it's noon, I'm good. No. When in your grown people, I'm talking 50, 60 years old, y'all been to the BMV numerous times to get that license renewed, to get them plates renewed, to do whatever. You've been there a million times. Why are you coming in, rolling your eyes, and then getting upset? Why?
People really do. People are so, I don't know, they're just so they just know that it's going to happen.
But so then if you know it's going to happen, why when you walk in are you so upset? I don't understand that.
I think people are pre-upset because they're expecting that. So when they walk in and they're already upset and they see, they're like, maybe there's a little glimmer of hope that it's not going to be that way.
There's not. Let me tell you. Listen up. Hey, everybody, let's bring it down a notch, all right? If y'all going to the BMV, if you lost your driver's license like I did and you need a new one, it's $18.75. That's how much it costs. The line is long. It's going to be long. When you walk in, just walk in. Just walk in. Stand in line. It'll be over before you know it. Don't walk in and give me this eye roll and make noises that everybody can hear because you just make everybody uncomfortable.
I agree with you. I
don't understand it.
It's I walk in there and I'm expecting yeah.
What's the grunts about? I don't know you. Stop grunting.
I'm expecting there to be a long line. It's not going to be fun or pleasant or anything like that, but I'm also expecting everybody else to just be on this level of they're just going to be frustrated and aggravated because they have to stand in this line, and then they're probably going to get up there and there's going to be something they forgot or they didn't know they needed or whatever, and they're going to have to go out, get it, and come back and stand in that line again. That stuff happens all the time, and that's why people get upset.
But they tell you, if you forgot this, just come right back up front. Just come. They tell you, if you forgot it, get your paperwork, come up front. And they're good about it. And they see you, they remember you, they bring you back up front. That happened twice while I was there. I got no problem. Go get your stuff. Come back in. If you're able to, come back in. Here's my thing. Listen, we all got to deal with it, all right? Just get the grump out you, man.
Yeah.
I had people all around me, and I got 3 kids. The 3 kids were being pretty good in the beginning. With the first 35, 40 minutes, they were being good. We're getting close to the front. We're getting up to an hour. We're getting up to an hour. And they're pushing and moving and jumping and this. And I'm kind of like, hey, do this, blah, blah, blah. Everything's good still. everybody around me, I just made fun of my kids and told them all, like, look at these guys. These little pieces are crazy. Ain't they crazy? Oh, my gosh. And they all told me how great the kids were being. Everybody had a smile on their face. Just let's all do this. When we go to the BMV, let's be nice to each other. Let's not complain. Because we all know what's going to happen. One guy told me when I first got in there, I've been in line so long, I forgot why I came. Well, then get out of line and go figure it out. That's dumb.
Let me get your spot.
If you've been standing in this line for an hour and you don't know why you're here, that's not my problem. You got to get out of line. Let's not be done. Let's not be like that. All right, let's all be happy. You know, can we all just spread love when we walk into the BMV? I feel like the BMV should stand for best, most.
V's tough.
Vivo Valentine.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what it should stand for, definitely. Best, most Valentine.
Best, most. I don't know. Just let's all just get a little happy. All right, can we do that?
It makes me. It kind of calms me down a little bit because I know everybody else in there is probably mad. So I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to go in there and just be. I know there's going to be a long line. What can I do about it? Nothing. I can't do anything about that. I'm just going to stand in the line.
But do you talk to other people in the? Never mind. I was going to say
you and I are
talk to other people
way.
in the line about the line, and I know you don't because you don't talk to other people in line in any situation.
No, not usually. I mean, if somebody says something to me,
how many word answers are you giving them?
Yeah, probably like oh yeah, something
no
like that.
More than 4, right?
So, yeah, probably. But it depends on what it is, or I don't know if I see somebody I know or something like that.
Oh, that don't count.
Okay.
I don't know anybody in the BMV line, man. We're all just trying to get a new license or get a registration or something crazy happen. There's no reason for me to be at the BMV because I can do everything online now.
All they're trying to just about. All they're trying to talk to me about is how long the line is and how much it stinks.
I don't even.
So I don't want to. I'm not going to give you more than 4 words for that.
Old boy told me that he said, I don't even know. I've been in line so long, I don't even know why I'm in line. I said, oh, cool. Can I take your spot? And 8 people around us laughed. Don't come at me with that. I'm gonna make you look silly.
You're gonna be I hope I go to the BMV sometime and you're in line there because you'll be the comic relief and you'll have everybody in good.
That's not true. I was not comic relief. I was not loud. I was not outspoken. I ain't trying to be that guy in line because people don't like that guy either.
No, I agree
just
with
when
you.
it needed to be there. When it needed to be there, if you say something to me, I'm gonna say something to you.
Sure.
But just smile at the guy next to you. Smile at him. The people behind me love my little kids. We smiled at each other. We had a warm embrace. That guy, me and him, we had a warm embrace. It was good. Yeah. He had a great
little peck on the cheek, maybe.
I would have. Well, I don't think he was up for it, but we had he had a good experience in line.
That's good because of you and
everybody
your kids.
Behind us.
Probably mostly because of your kids. Let's be
everybody honest. Behind us. Eye rolls. I'm done with it. If you walk into the BMV, I'm just telling you, it's going to be a long line. Sure. It ain't going to be fun. There's going to be a kid screaming. There's going to be somebody that forgot their paperwork, and they're going to come cut, quotation marks, cut back in line. They're not cutting. They were there before. They just didn't know they needed something they needed. They're coming back. Just everybody chill. All right, let's all take a big, deep breath. We good?
We're good.
That's my BMV story.
I'm glad. That was a nice story because it gives me hope that there are people that walk into the BMV that are not going to be grumpy.
There's not a lot of them, my man.
Nope,
not a lot of
them. Listen, let me. So we're going to get into. It's been, like we said, it's been 2 weeks since we've spoken on this podcast.
It has.
The entire NBA world is completely different than the last time we were on here together.
Dude, does anybody play for the same team?
Nobody plays for the same team
LeBron James, does anybody still play for the same team they played for last year?
LeBron made his big move last year, and besides him, everybody else is different.
Before we get into what happened in NBA free agency, do you like the fact that everybody's moving teams?
I kind of do.
Oh my gosh! I did not think that was going to happen. I didn't think that was going to happen.
I kind of do, just because
I'm digging it, man. Let's have some fun with it, right?
Because it's just fun to. First of all, it's going to be fun to speculate a little bit. It's kind of dumb to actually try to rank and we have no idea how all this is going to work out.
None.
But it's kind of fun to see, okay, how is this guy going to play with this guy, or how is this team going to play together? And it's just fun to think about that, talk about those scenarios. But we're not going to know. The real fun is going to be when games start and we're, a few weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months into the season, we're really seeing how teams are gelling and how players, specific players, especially the stars that have moved, are playing together, are fitting in with their teams, are getting along with their coaches. That's, everything is big news now. Everything that happens in especially the NBA for whatever reason, but even in sports, anybody has a disagreement with a teammate or a coach, everybody knows about it. Everybody does. So whether things are going really well or really badly, usually we know more about the stuff that goes really badly, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
nothing comes out if you're winning.
Right. But it's still fun. But people who really watch the game really enjoy and appreciate what's going on when a team is winning, when a team's playing well together. And that's really fun. And it's going to be, it's just, I like to see different matchups and different teammates and just teams looking a little bit different. It's just fun to me. And there are going to be a lot of teams.
Dude, ain't nobody look the same.
No.
There's nobody that looks the same. If you're a good team, you don't look anything like you did last year.
Correct.
And that's not, and somehow these really good, unless you're, you know what? Unless you are Philadelphia, unless you're the 76ers, everything else looks the same.
But they don't even look the same because Jimmy Butler's gone. That's a big deal.
Okay, Jimmy Butler's a big deal, but that's the same team you've had for the last 3 years.
You also added Al Horford, I believe, right?
No, Al Horford went to. Didn't he go to Brooklyn?
No. DeAndre Jordan did.
DeAndre Jordan, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I
see. Here we go. I'm so confused right now.
Yeah.
If I don't have them all pulled up, I may not know who went where.
There was so much movement, so many guys either signed with new teams. There were sign and trades.
It's still happening.
It is still happening.
It's not done.
And that's what I'm excited about now. The big thing was, okay, so there were several guys early on, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving.
You got a lot written down, dude. Let's go.
No, I don't even have anything about this. These are all the questions, the new scoreboard stumpers that I'm going to ask you later.
Oh, yes.
But so get excited about that. But before that, we knew Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and DeAndre Jordan all went to Brooklyn. All right, they're going to be completely different. And they still have Karis LeVert and a couple other guys that played really well for them that made them a playoff team last year. So you're adding on to what they already had. You had, a few other stars. Kemba Walker ended up doing a sign and trade. He's with the Celtics now, obviously to kind of replace Kyrie. You had other stars or fringe stars make moves, join different teams in different ways. The big one, the one that was kind of last, the one that everybody really wanted to see was Kawhi Leonard. And he waited until, was it Friday night? Yeah, it was. It was Friday at like 2 o'clock Friday night, Saturday morning at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
It was 2 o'clock in the morning because me and you both got a text at 2:30 from a huge Nosebleed Sports podcast fan. I love you. Big Joe Leonard.
From our guy Joe, and I woke up the next morning and you would respond.
I was already up.
You responded.
I was ready for it. I had just saw the ESPN alert come through, and he texted literally seconds after the alert came through.
Yeah.
I love you, Joe.
It was awesome. But so we finally found out where Kawhi went. There was so much, just everybody talked about that for like 4 days. Everybody talked about it, and it changed by the hour.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking, he's going to the Lakers. Like, the Lakers are the front, 99% sure he's going to the Lakers. And then it was, I don't know. Maybe not.
Was it that much? Because I felt like the Clippers were the number one team from the beginning of last year all the way till this came through.
I thought the same thing.
Until you heard what? Magic Johnson.
Well, yeah, Magic, but all the reporters, all the national, NBA reporters were talking about being surprised after he.
How about Chris Broussard? You're a Broussard guy, right?
I'm a Broussard guy.
Chris Broussard said there is no way Kawhi Leonard goes to the Clippers.
Yeah, and then he came out the next day and owned it and said I was wrong. And all that
I mean, what else you gonna say?
Yeah,
you're not gonna say, what else you gonna say about that?
But I was surprised by the amount of people that said they were surprised by him joining the Clippers, because I'm the same as you.
That's all you've heard about. You've not heard about anything else but Clippers.
And it was just in the last few days that you heard less about the Clippers and more about either the Lakers or the Raptors.
Man, he was Clippers. He was Clippers the whole time for me. That didn't surprise me one bit.
It didn't surprise me.
So, but this is the big thing. How much fun is the West? Okay, it's a double-edged sword. How much fun is the NBA going to be on the West Coast, especially in LA, with two of the top three teams in the NBA being LA, literally playing in the same arena, right? So that's going to be fun. On the other hand, how much does the NBA hate it? Because they're both West Coast teams, and 90% of your following is Central Time or Eastern Time.
Yes, that's my.
That killed the NBA when LeBron went to LA last year. He played so late. Way the what do you call that when people watch? The ratings.
Oh, okay.
The ratings went way down. It was because of the fact that you're not able to watch LeBron. You're not able to watch the biggest star in the game. And now you take, three of the top five biggest stars in the game and put them all in one city.
Yeah, four. I mean, yeah, it depends on where you put Paul George, but he was a finalist, one of the three finalists for MVP this year. So you got four guys, that was the biggest surprise. Nobody talked about Paul George moving. Nobody talked about any other. I mean, people talked about stars because early on they said Kawhi was talking to Kevin Durant before Durant signed. And they talked about they talked about Kawhi joining the Lakers. It seemed almost likely for at least a day that was going to happen, and I figured you'd be really excited about that if he would have joined the Lakers.
I don't want him in LA. I don't want him in a Lakers uniform. I want him in a Clippers uniform, and I want everybody to think Kawhi is the man. I want Kawhi to be the guy.
Yeah,
I want Kawhi to be the guy. So when LeBron and AD take him down, it's like, okay, LeBron's back on top.
Well, that's what I'm not for the same reason, but I'm also very excited that he did not join the Lakers. He joined the Clippers because there's better competition there. There's a rivalry there.
Exactly.
Even if it's not a rivalry, I mean,
it's going to be a rivalry because
Patrick Beverley is involved in this series. So it's going to be a rivalry because Patrick Beverley is going to make sure it's a rivalry. But in all seriousness, I just hope
Patrick Beverley doesn't hurt LeBron James on purpose.
Patrick Beverley does not hurt people on purpose. He doesn't hurt people. Don't ask Russell Westbrook his opinion on that, but he doesn't hurt people on purpose.
Let's go to that. So Westbrook's going to be gone, right? OKC is obviously moving on from where they have been for the last 8 years, 9 years. How long since KD the KD Harden Westbrook trio started? Since then, they have been a predominant force in the West. They've been in the Western Conference Finals, or
they went to the finals against the Heat,
right? They've been in the Western Conference Finals multiple times. They've been in the just in the playoffs every year since. This is completely different for them. Mm-hmm. They're basically putting out there that they are in a rebuilding situation. They are in talks now with Russell Westbrook, the greatest, tell me if I'm wrong, the greatest Oklahoma City Thunder player in the history of the Thunder. Not in the history of that franchise, because you got to go back to Seattle. In the history of that, and I'm not saying the best player, but the most influential to that city. Because KD was the best player to ever play for them. But Russell Westbrook is... he's the best Thunder player, most influential maybe Thunder player that they've had. And they are now talking to him about, where you want to go, brother. Mm-hmm. Let's find 3 places for you to go and see what we can get.
I was initially kind of like, the immediate reaction was that Westbrook, started talking to them about being traded after Paul George left. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. Somebody's unhappy about the direction it's going. Everybody, especially if you're a star, all you have to do is go to the front office and say, I'm unhappy, I'm not going to be happy, and things are going to be tough around here unless you trade me. Trade me now. Players have all of the power in the NBA now.
100%. And I kind of like that. I do. I like the fact that they have the power. I think they deserve the power. They're the ones that drive the revenue. They drive the attendance. They drive everything. I think they deserve the power.
They do. I think it's better to have a balance, but I do like them having more power than they ever did.
Okay, they got more power. I don't want to say they have all the power because none
close.
of them have all the power, but
right.
They definitely have. I mean, just look at what they did with AD. They made AD stick around for way longer than he wanted to. He still got what he wanted, I guess.
Right. But anyway, that's what I was going to go at. But like the Russell Westbrook situation gives us like another Kawhi Leonard thing. Like it was like, for 4, 5, 6 days, whatever it was, when we were all waiting for Kawhi Leonard to make his decision, we were like, oh my gosh, like checking Twitter every 5 seconds.
Some of us were
refreshing. No, I took off. I always take off on the NBA. No, I'm just kidding. I take my vacation the first day that NBA free agency starts. I'm kidding, but I don't actually ever go on vacation, so I should start doing that.
It's the truth. Look, I'm about to go on my 3rd vacation of the year in 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, and. I feel bad because in this whole year, Adam has not missed a show. I will be missing my 3rd show.
Did I miss one because I was sick or something one time?
No, you came. No, you still came. You just sickened up my whole house when you showed up here.
And you're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But
it boosts my immune system.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I could help you. But no, this Russell Westbrook thing, at first I was like, kind of rolled my eyes about it, like, just stick around and let him rebuild around you. Now, but then I rethought it. Look, the guy's 30 now. He's in his early 30s, 31 actually, I think. He doesn't have, if he's 24, sure, he might stick around. He did, when KD left, he did sign that extension. He was like, I'm committing to this team before Paul George came. So he already did that. He committed to the franchise. He committed to that city one time already, long term. It's mutual though. That's the thing. That's
what I like about this whole thing is they came together and they said, "Look, brother. To be honest, it's better for Oklahoma City to get rid of Russ.
I agree.
And get something big, get something for him. If they can get something for him, and it's better for Russ to get out of there as a star, one of the top 10 players in the NBA,
definitely
to get out of Oklahoma City and give himself a chance at something more."
Definitely, and I'm just so excited because I know something's going to happen. There's going to be big news again.
Oh, we got more.
Just
not done. It's not done. We got more.
We thought the Kawhi Leonard thing, and then we were blown away by Paul George joining him in the middle of the night out of nowhere.
That came out of nowhere. The Paul George one was the craziest move so far that nobody was expecting was Paul George. The Nets was kind of a deal like, all right, we kind of knew the Nets were going to do that, and you knew Kyrie was going somewhere. It didn't really matter where he was going because he's going to be number 2, although he's number 1 for a year in Brooklyn. It's his team for a year, but he was always going to be number 2 wherever he went. It was just most of it was, big moves, but nothing too crazy. Paul George, nobody saw that coming.
No. And if Oklahoma City can get a good amount for Russell Westbrook, and they should, it's just going to be tough to find. So that's the thing, too. It's going to be tough to find somebody who wants to take on his contract. And also, you can't look around very many places and think Russell Westbrook would fit nicely into this system or with this team or with these teammates. it's tough because of the way he plays and because he has been kind of a curmudgeon for the last few years.
Look at it, dude. So
he's getting grumpier all the time. It's tough to think of a place that he's going to be happy.
A lot of people were talking about the Heat.
Yes,
I don't
that's
understand.
That's really the only team I've heard a lot about.
But I don't understand the Heat. Does that make sense to you?
They
just signed Jimmy Butler,
right?
And Jimmy Butler and him, I don't see that mixing as well as he could mix with so many other players. Like, okay, so the Miami Heat were dead last in isolations last year, and they were second last in isolation efficiency last year. All right, well, you got Jimmy Butler, so that's a good step forward in that matter. You sign Russell Westbrook, then yeah, that's fine, but is that going to hurt the fact that you just got Jimmy Butler? Like, that was the point of bringing Jimmy Butler in, right?
Well, the reason that I think there's a chance that could work is because I think Jimmy Butler's game is pretty similar to Paul George's game.
And Paul George, not the first year, but his last 2 years, excelled. He really did excel playing with Russell Westbrook. Not only did he excel, but he made Russell Westbrook's game better.
Especially on the defensive end.
That was the biggest part.
Right.
And he helped him, average a triple-double because he knocked down shots where most people, a lot of guys Russ was playing with weren't knocking down shots.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of think there's a chance that this could work out, and they could be a team that run because Jimmy Butler's still young enough, and he can run, and
they got Whiteside down there too.
He went to they shipped him off. I
thought he re-signed.
No,
he re-signed too. That was
he went to the
year.
Blazers actually in the Paul George deal. I'm pretty sure.
Dude, I'm so confused.
Was it in the Paul George deal?
There's so many things that have me confused.
There ended up being like 4
So who's their big
there.
guy down there? Do they have anybody over 6'7"?
Yes, they do. They have Zach Collins still, and they have I'm pretty sure. And then they did bring somebody in, part of that deal too. Another big guy. Slipping my mind right now because there were 1,000 transactions.
I'm just happy that you knew where that Whiteside was gone, and you knew they still had somebody. Good, big ups to you. So Adam's got the Nosebleed Sports Podcast NBA free agency on lock.
I wish I could remember where everybody went, what everybody signed for. I have friends that keep all of that stuff in their minds somehow, and I have no clue how.
Let me tell you something. So we do a sports podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I love sports. I love it. I love it so much.
Yes, you do.
It's tough. The older I get, it's tough to keep up with everything as much like I used to do. Like, I love my kids. I love living life. I love doing things.
Going on vacations.
I love going on vacations. But sports is still there. So that doesn't mean we're ever going to stop doing this because that'll never happen. But I don't know. If you got friends that have that in their mind all the time, then we need them on this podcast.
Yeah, they would be good.
Let's get them going.
Okay. Yes, those guys
are they up for it?
Are similar to me. They're like 9 years younger than me, but they're in the same situation as me where they're not married and they don't have kids.
There you go.
So
we need to get them. Bring them over to the Rum Dum Studios. My wife's not going to let them in my basement, but that's okay. I'll blindfold them, get them into the studio, and then they can sit in here and we can talk NBA basketball all night, and we'll have no Twitter followers or Facebook followers because all of our Cincinnati people can't stand the NBA.
You know what? Joe Leonard follows the NBA very well, I feel
he
like.
Does, and he and Joe, God love you, probably the biggest, if not one of the biggest followers of the Nosebleed Sports Podcast, at least the live version on Facebook.
Absolutely. Okay, so we talked plenty of off-season basketball. Actually, one more thing.
One more off-season. Let's do it.
I want to get your opinion on D'Angelo Russell on the Golden State Warriors.
So,
is that going to work?
I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't know if D'Angelo Russell is on this Golden State Warriors team when the season starts.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of hearing is.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I thought that was a hot take.
It is a hot take, but
It's obviously not if that's what we're hearing. All right, well, in that case, I think D'Angelo Russell's going to have a phenomenal year with the Golden State Warriors.
No, they did start talking about that. I don't know if it'll be before the season or sometime during the season before the trade deadline.
I just don't see him. They've got a point guard. They've got the best point guard in all of basketball. What do you need D'Angelo Russell for? What's he gonna do? Where's he gonna play? Don't get me wrong. D'Angelo Russell had a breakout year last year in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Breakout year.
Yes, he did.
That was his best year coming off of his Iggy Azalea, Nick Young, breakup tour that he pulled off in L.A. But this dude is. I don't know how he fits. He's another ball player. Sure, he's a good ball player, but it's just another guard. He's probably going to be really good for them while Clay's out in the beginning of the year. So maybe they keep him till Clay's gone. Let him run the one. Let Steph do the two, or do a little mixture of the two. Because he's shooting all right, but let's be honest. I'd rather see Steph play the two and just run off screens all day and let somebody try to find him.
That's the thing.
But he plays so well with the ball. I don't want to take the ball out of his hand.
But I think that's why it can work. Because of the way Steph Curry plays and because of the offense that they run, it's Steph Curry doesn't have to, necessarily initiate the offense every time. He doesn't necessarily have to make sure everybody's involved. He doesn't have to throw it into the post, and he doesn't have to. They just flow. They move the ball and bodies move.
It's going to be a whole new Golden State Warriors team, though.
It is. It is.
Iggy's gone, right?
Andre Iguodala is gone. Yes,
and
they're about to release Sean Livingston.
You basically got three guys. And it's the original three. You have the original three still from the first title. You have Clay, you have Steph, and you have Draymond.
Right.
You basically have those three and a bunch of.
Well, and Iguodala, yeah, right. Well,
rum-dums. Iggy's gone.
Right.
You basically got those three and a bunch of rum-dums. Or a ding-dong or two.
I still think... I agree.
Yeah, tell me what they got. Tell me they're gonna they are gonna have the most difficulty finishing out their roster. Everybody's talking about the difficulty that LA is going to have finishing out their roster. I think Golden State's got more difficulty finishing out their roster than anybody because they've made their decisions. They've got Clay, they got Steph. Clay's not playing. Steph, they got Draymond, and they bring in D'Angelo Russell. Yeah. And you've got a bunch of dudes under 6'6".
Yeah, they haven't played. Kevon Looney did resign, and you still have Bogut, but
who?
Kevon Looney started a bunch of games.
I'll give you a who for both of them. I'll give you a who for both of them.
Started a lot of games.
I know who they are, but I'm saying who? Is that for real who you're giving me? As their fourth and fifth players?
He resigned as a guy who played a lot of minutes last
He's
year.
a great bench player. He'd be a great bench player.
Well, he starts a lot of games too, but... I know what you're saying, though. He's not a guy you're going to throw the ball to in the post. He's not a guy you're going to run the offense through at all. Anything he gets is going to be within the flow of either getting a rebound and a stick back, or you're going to get open looks because of the way they cut. They cut and screen and that kind of thing. So he's going to get slips and stuff like that, and he'll get buckets that way. But I think D'Angelo Russell has the game. He seems like a ball-dominant guard, but he has the game. One of the best parts about him, when I liked him coming out of Ohio State, was his passing ability. I think if he buys into what they do there, to moving the ball and not, thinking I've got to score every time I touch it, like he did in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Or in LA, if he understands the way that offense operates and he does it, he gets involved in it.
So what are you going to start doing?
You're
going to start playing him, Clay, and Steph all together, then making Draymond your four? Like what?
No,
think about how small
Clay is
of a
the end of
is.
Next year. I'm not expecting them to play together.
So then you don't expect. So you're saying what I'm saying, where you think he's gone. He's not a long-term solution or a long-term piece in Golden State.
Probably not. Probably not. And I think that's going to be a good move. I mean, if they wanted to keep him around, I'd actually be fine with that. But I think they will.
In what way, though? Where does he fit on that team?
He fits like everybody else does. He fits like Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston and anybody.
Sean Livingston is a backup point guard who knows he's a backup point guard and played the backup point guard position. Iguodala is a 4 who played a stretch or who played in the 3 position and played in the 4 position and played great defense.
Came off the bench.
D'Angelo Russell is a starting point guard for you.
But my point is the way those guys, when they were in the game, they were very involved in that offense. I mean, they were. They got Sean Livingston got his shots. He got those elbow jumpers and those mid-range jumpers that he's so good at. I mean, within the flow of the offense, within what they do. And Iguodala got the same thing. He got looks from 3 and he got dunks because of the way they run the offense. And that's my point. If D'Angelo Russell buys into that, he is capable of thriving, of flourishing in this offense, even with Steph and Clay. I mean, they did it with Kevin Durant.
Sean Livingston averaged 4 points a game.
Right. But
D'Angelo Russell is not Sean Livingston.
No, that's right.
He didn't get his chance. I agree with you that Sean Livingston got his shots, but that's not enough shots for D'Angelo Russell.
It's not, but D'Angelo Russell's going to play a lot more than Sean Livingston did.
When Clay comes back, in what capacity?
You can play 3 Clay's a forward anyway. You can play 3 guards if you want to call him a guard. He's a guard too. Fine.
In what way is Clay? So you're going to play
Clay has played the 4 for them plenty of times. It's a different NBA than it used to be.
I agree with that, but
D'Angelo Russell has the game that he can play with those guys. The way they play, that's my point. The way they play, he should be able to fit in just fine. Because he's good, and he can get you 20 and 10 assists if you want him to. But they're going to win if he plays the way that those other guys play. That Steph and Clay figured out how to play together.
We talked way too long about D'Angelo Russell. I don't.
It was a good conversation.
It was a good conversation, but I just don't understand. I understand why they have D'Angelo Russell. I understand the move. I understand they needed something in return, and they have him as a great spot until Clay gets back. I can't see him on this team with Clay. I just don't see it. I don't see how it works. I don't see him, Steph, Clay, Draymond together.
I can see it working. I'm with you that I don't think they're going to keep him around that long. And it's going to be a great thing. Like, he can have a great season, and then they can trade him for some assets or whatever they choose to do with it, which is probably the direction they're going to go, because they're not going to be the same Warriors team probably as far as winning that they have been this upcoming season. But they're probably going to get a little bit better position in the draft order next year. No, I mean, they can still be a playoff team in that everything. But they'll probably get a little bit better position in the draft order next year, and they can get some more assets from D'Angelo Russell if they find a suitor at the trade deadline for him.
And there'll be plenty of people looking for a guy like D'Angelo Russell. I just don't think he fits. And there's a reason why they will be, because he doesn't fit with Golden State the way he fits everywhere else. And I think that will be a trade with a really good team. And I think D'Angelo Russell is going to be in the playoffs. And I think the Golden State Warriors will be in the playoffs. I just don't think they'll be there together.
Fair enough.
Let me ask you a question.
Please do.
Before you get to what you got on there, because I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Let's do that first. Go ahead.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I told you I was going through a bunch of old stuff. I found a big stack of old scorecards from Reds games when we were going 1 million games a year.
Get my thinking cap ready.
Get your thinking cap ready. And at the Reds game, I don't know if they do this at all other stadiums, any other stadiums, but for as long as I've been alive, probably, they've done a scoreboard stumper, right? Between the 5th and 7th inning, I believe.
Yep.
So they post a question in the 5th inning. You have a couple innings to think about it, and then they post the answer. So whenever I kept a scorecard, I would write that question and answer down. So going through, I found another stack
I love it.
of old scorecards, and I
Yes.
found a few of the questions that the answers I'm pretty sure are still the same.
All right, good.
Because a lot
That's
of them,
the hardest part.
right? A lot of them
Because
were
most of
have
these
changed.
most of these that you found were from when we went to games back in the early 2000s.
Correct.
Like the aughts. We call those the aughts. Are they the aughts?
I've never called them the aughts, but you can call them the aughts if you'd like.
I thought that was a thing.
It might be a thing.
The aughts.
It's not a thing for me.
They're not the teens,
No.
but they're the aughts.
I get what you're saying. It makes sense.
Something. Okay. All right, good. All right, so the aughts. Let's go with the aughts. What do we got from Scoreboard Stumpers, Reds games, aughts? I'm ready for this. Let's do it.
In aught 3, 4 players hit 45 or more home runs. This is Major League Baseball wide. In aught 3, 4 players hit 45 or more home runs. 2003. Think back.
Jeez, oh Pete.
We're talking 16 years here.
2003, Barry Bonds.
That's correct.
Alex Rodriguez.
That's correct.
And
You have 2 more. One, if you get it, I am going to do a backflip off this table right here on Facebook.
who
Live.
were they playing?
They were playing the Pittsburgh Pirates that game. And I believe Barry Bonds was the Pittsburgh Pirate connection.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. Oh, boy. Barry Bonds. So 4 of them. Barry Bonds, A-Rod. Let's go. Manny never hit 45. All of Major League Baseball.
All of Major League Baseball. I'll give you want a hint?
Yeah, give me something. Just give me a team.
This guy played for the team where the All-Star game was just played last night.
Cleveland.
Yes.
So he was in Cleveland in 2003. Jim Thome.
Correct.
Okay. Wow.
3 for 3.
All right.
This last guy is the one that I said, if you guess this.
Just give me a team.
At that time, I believe it was either the Milwaukee Brewers or the Seattle Mariners. I think the Seattle Mariners.
Wow, that didn't help.
Yeah. This is going to be...
Oh, Milwaukee or Seattle?
I think he played both places, and I think he did this in Seattle.
45 bombs. 45 bombs, 2003.
He had about 3 years or so where he was this big-time home run hitter, and then he kind of faded.
So he did about 3 or 4 years of steroids, and then it faded off. I'm
He's a tall guy. He played first base. That doesn't really narrow it down very well either.
Wow, this is oh, no. Seattle is what's killing me. Because Fielder would have been there. Prince Fielder would have been in Milwaukee at that point, right?
Yeah. That would have been a good guess for this. It's not him though.
Okay, give it to me. I'm done.
Richie Sexson. Richie Sexson. Four players from the 1970 National League Championship Series.
Richie Sexton?
Sexson. Sexson. Sexon.
I don't even know who that dude is.
You don't remember? If I showed you a picture of Richie Sexson, you would be like, oh, yeah. On to the next. Four players from the 1970, and the person posing is Mary Witt on this, if he or she is still on Facebook Live. Okay, I was going to say it's going to be all over this one, but from the 1970 NLCS, Reds Pirates, won a batting title in their career. 4 players who played in that series in 1970. So Reds or Pirates have
won a batting title.
Won a batting title in their
career.
All
right. Well, I'm going to give you got Joe Morgan.
Incorrect.
No. All right. Well, Pete Rose.
Correct.
Won a batting title. Oh, Griffey. Griffey won a batting title, didn't he? Griffey Sr.?
He was not one of the answers.
Willie Stargell never did. He wasn't.
Was he not with them in 70 maybe? Maybe he didn't get there in 70.
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty
That's
sure
13 years before I was born. I got a pretty good idea about what happened back then, but it's not that great. All right, so
anyway,
good. This is a tough one, dude.
Yeah, Pete. Yeah, two of these guys, you're going to definitely get one. It's going to pop into your head, and you're going to be like, oh, my God, and you're going to say it. And then the last two are not easy.
I've only got Pete right now, dude. It's the only thing I got in my mind.
Yep.
And the other one is it's Pittsburgh, right?
Correct.
Old Pittsburgh.
Correct. In fact, the other three are Pittsburgh.
Oh, well, then I definitely won't get it. Who is it? Willie Wilson?
Stargell?
No, not Willie Stargell. Willie Wilson?
No.
Who is it?
The one we actually talked about him right before we came on the air.
Don't know.
Roberto Clemente.
Oh, that's terrible. Right. That makes me feel bad.
Chris is on suicide watch right now.
21. That's one of my favorite players of all time.
It is. So you got Pete, Roberto Clemente. The other two that are going to be really tough are Matty Alou and Al Oliver.
Yeah, there's no chance I would have ever got that.
Those were tough.
That was it. All right, next.
4 pitchers threw perfect games in the 1990s. 4 pitchers threw perfect games in the 1990s.
1990s. All right, so
they were playing the Padres that day.
Mr. Perfect. You got
Tom Browning? No.
Oh, was that the 80s? Was that 88?
That was 88.
Okay. Randy Johnson?
No.
90s perfect games. Dude, that's
two
a tough
two
one.
of them played for the same team and share a first name.
That's the dumbest. That's the dumbest clue I've ever had in my life.
When I tell you who they are, though, you're gonna be like, oh yeah.
Well, sure, it makes sense, but perfect games in the 90s.
Perfect games in the 90s.
Gosh, bless America. This is so difficult.
You tell me when
Scoreboard Stumpers.
You tell me when you want clues.
Okay, clue.
Okay, so the two guys I'm talking about played for the Yankees. Threw perfect games in the 90s.
Oh, David Cohn.
Correct.
And David Wells.
Correct.
Okay, so we got 2. We got 2 of the 4 out of the way.
The other, one of the others played for, and he played for a few different teams. I know the one that I remember him most, and I think when he pitched the perfect game was in Montreal.
Martinez.
Which one?
David.
Dennis. Yeah,
Dennis, whatever.
Yes,
whatever. Ding dong with the D. Yeah, old Jerry Curl. Jerry Curl Martinez.
Dennis Martinez.
Okay.
The last one, I believe, did this
Which
with the...
one? I knew it wasn't Pedro. Pedro never threw a perfect game.
The last guy...
But he did play for Montreal.
Yeah. I believe did this with the Texas Rangers. And ended up pitching pretty... he was pretty old when he retired.
No, Nolan Ryan never threw a perfect game.
No.
Okay.
No, Nolan Ryan.
Just making sure, because I knew he had a bunch of no-hitters, but he never threw a perfect game.
Right. He had a no-hitter in the 90s, too.
You got to give me this one.
Kenny Rogers.
Ah, you stink.
Kenny Rogers.
You old country singer.
Yep. Old country singer /
Yeah.
I think
do we got
pitcher.
one more? 2 more?
I've got 2 more. Maybe I'll do no, you're going to like these last 2.
All right, knock it out. Let's go.
5 players have won Gold Gloves and stolen 30 or more bases in the same season while playing for the Reds. Gold Glove and 30 or more
How many?
stolen bases. 5.
So I'm going to go with Pete Rose.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
I guess Gold Glove. He made it to an All-Star game at like 7 different positions, but maybe not won a Gold Glove. Okay. Joe Morgan.
Correct.
Barry Larkin.
Correct.
30 bags and a Gold Glove. 30 bags and a Gold Glove. That could be a lot of people.
2 of those guys are teammates of the first 2 guys that you just mentioned.
Are we going with Eric Davis?
Correct.
Okay. Eric Davis and...
Teammate of Joe Morgan's.
Teammate of Joe. Right. Okay, so...
More known for his Gold Gloves, probably, than his stolen bases.
There's no possible way that Johnny Bench stole 30 bases.
No.
And let's see, first base...
That team was so good defensively. Oh, my God.
First base is Tony Perez, and he didn't steal 30 bases. He might have stole 30 bases, but he didn't win a Gold Glove. Pete Rose is also for second base. Pete Rose, you got Concepcion. Let's go Davey Concepcion.
That's correct.
All right, cool, good.
Morgan Concepcion, Davis Larkin. The last one is going to be by far the most difficult.
Give me a year.
Oh boy. I'm gonna say.
Is it like pre-1960?
No. This is like late '90s, early 2000s. Like 99, 2000.
Infield or outfield?
Infield. Yeah, these were all. No, never mind. These weren't all infielders. Yeah, this guy's an infielder.
Late 90s, early 2000s, infield. So that's Barry Larkin era, so he's got to be playing third or second.
Let me give you a hint and say Brandon Phillips before Brandon Phillips, like the first Brandon Phillips. As far as, personality, big, smile personality guy, and just a wizard with a glove. And some speed.
All right, who is it?
Had a strange first name.
Give it to me.
Pokey Reese.
Oh, Pokey Reese.
Pokey
You
Reese.
Stink pot. All right,
Very last one. This is my favorite
Let's
one
go.
because this is my favorite baseball team of all time.
Okay.
3 Reds from the 1990 team hit 300.
No crap. That's unbelievable. 3 guys. All right, so I'm going to go Chris Sabo.
Nope.
Oh, Paul O'Neill.
No.
Barry Larkin.
Yes, he hit 301.
Billy Hatcher.
No.
Who the hell hit 300 on that team?
I
How many at-bats did you have to have?
The one
Because Hal Morris probably hit 300, but did he have enough at-bats to be considered in this?
He did have enough at-bats, and he hit 340.
I was just because but he didn't play. Like, him and Benzinger split a lot of time out there.
I feel like Morris played more than Benzinger.
I think he played more, but was it enough? Okay, so Morris. So Morris.
The other guy, yeah.
What was it? 3 of them?
3. So you got Larkin and Morris. And this other guy is probably the toughest one. He's a little forgettable, but he really, he was a big part of that team.
Little forgettable, big part of the team. I was going to say Billy Hatcher, but
Billy Hatcher
was a big part of the team, and he didn't do it.
It is not Luis Quinones.
It's not Herm Winningham.
It's not Herm Winningham.
It's not Joe Oliver.
It's not Billy Bates.
It's not Billy Bates. Keep going. What else we got? It's not Glenn Braggs.
It's not Ron Oster. It's not Glenn Braggs. It's
who else we got on that team? Come on, man. We can do this all
day.
It's
not Tim Burtis. It's not Tim Leana.
Whoa, Leana. That's really getting deep.
It's not Scott Scudder.
1990. Oh, Scott Scudder didn't play on the 90 Reds.
Yeah.
What? Scott Scudder was on that team?
Scott Scudder was on the 90 Reds.
Scott Scudder's got a ring.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. That dude, Scott Scudder did not deserve.
I just want to keep saying Scott Scudder. I just want to keep saying Scott Scudder. Shout out Scott Scudder.
Scott, listen, dude, you've been hitting us up on the Nosebleed Sports Podcast for years. We appreciate you listening. But let's be honest, you ain't got no 1990 World Series ring, and if you do, turn it back in. I'm just kidding.
Turn it back
I'm kidding. If you got it, keep that thing on, rock that thing every day. No, 3 guys on the 1990 World Series winning champion Cincinnati Reds hit 300. One of them was Barry Larkin. One of them was, who'd you say?
Hal Morris.
And the last one is going to be, we didn't say Mariano Duncan.
Bingo. Mariano Duncan.
Don't do drugs and don't be a user.
Yeah. The best part of that rap.
Oh, that was good. Hey, I appreciate that. That was a lot of fun. Should Jeremy Lin give his ring back? Probably.
He should have got more playing time.
You a big Jeremy Lin fan?
I think Jeremy Lin can play. He can hoop.
Yeah. That guy was like sleeping on somebody's floor when he finally signed his deal in New York.
Yeah.
Linsanity. Yeah. All right, so here's my question for you. Let's get back to this because we only got a few minutes left. Geez, we're an hour and a half in.
Yeah. I got one more really fast thing at the end, but you
No.
No.
I wanted to get back into this home run derby deal.
Okay.
But if you, what do you got? What do you got?
I was just going to update everybody on the Nosebleed Sports Podcast poll.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Facebook.
The poster poll.
Yes, all-time greatest sports poster. I've just been making executive decisions. I apologize without you.
You do not have to apologize. You're an executive. Make the decision.
So what
How many ties have we had?
we've had 0 ties.
Oh, then what's your executive decision?
Well, it was so. I mean, I just decided who to pair with who, with whom.
Yeah, because
Yeah. You know, for the first.
it's been a
the
rough
first
year.
32.
It's been a rough month for me. I've had a lot of things going on.
Oh, that's okay. No,
I know, so you got to make your own decisions.
No, and yeah, that's not what I meant. I've just been doing it. But anyway, the 32. So the 32, we narrowed down to 16. Thank you everybody who voted on those
Appreciate
polls.
that.
And we were just going. I messed up a couple times and forgot to change the timing on the thing. But for the most part, we were going one day just to speed this thing along. And then we were going to go when we got our final 16 guys. We were going to go a week at a time, like we have with all the other polls.
Right.
I think I'm going to do one day again, at least until we get down to maybe like the final 4 or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Because this can drag on forever.
I like when things drag on.
People are going to get bored looking at the same posters.
Okay.
And I'm a little on the frustrated side with Facebook, the way they have their polls set up and how difficult it's been.
The polls might start going to Instagram if I can figure out how to make Instagram work.
Yep.
Or Twitter. Don't go to Instagram. The Nosebleeds has an Instagram, but don't go there because all they're doing right now is following women's soccer players. Because I wanted to see all of the celebration that they were doing, and they were all doing all kinds of fun
We could
stuff.
talk for another hour about that, by the way, so we won't talk about it right now.
Oh, we need to get into that. This is the best time to do it.
Because we're going to disagree about this. We're going to disagree about that. I can almost guarantee it. But we're not going to do that right now because we're an hour and a half
You just
in.
got me all excited.
I know, and it's
it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, dude.
I gotta work a long day tomorrow.
Oh my gosh,
All
I
right.
so want to get into that. All right,
So right now we're down to
the
the final 16.
FIFA.
Yesterday I went ahead and posted the first one. It was Bo Jackson, who was my number 1 seed. I don't know if we would agree on that or not, but
I
I
like
put
that.
him number 1. The Bo Jackson, where he's got the shoulder pads and with the bat hanging over him, he's got his abs going, he's got his biceps going.
Yep.
He makes Derek Dietrich look like Adam Schmidt.
Right.
Now
he's 1 or 2 next to the wingspan
Wings.
of right.
Wings.
Is that what they call it?
That's
Wings.
wings,
Michael
yeah.
Jordan. Okay.
Exactly.
He's 1 or 2 with that.
And I've got wings at number 2.
Okay.
So, but Bo, I posted yesterday against Safe Deposit. Is what this one's called. Carl Banks. It was a
Carl
linebacker.
Banks, yeah.
A linebacker with the.
I feel like that's a pretty easy win for our man
for Bo.
Yeah.
For Bo. The Carl Banks poster is pretty cool. He was a.
Is this is a remember podcast followers.
Mhm.
This is not the best player.
It's not your favorite athlete. It's not the best athlete.
It's the best poster. It
the
just
best
so
poster.
happens that sometimes the best athletes have the best posters.
That's correct, and it makes sense. So anyway, that one was posted yesterday. Before I go to bed tonight, you will see Wings versus David Justice. And Justice for All. Is what
Yeah,
this
that's
called.
a good one too.
It is a really cool one. So Wings will be that. So then every day
There's
I'm
nothing better than those 2 posters.
right.
If
Yeah.
it doesn't come down to those 2, if it's not Michael versus Bo, I don't know if I don't know if I'm with all of my podcasts. I don't know if I'm with all the podcasters.
You might. I mean, you might change your mind by the end.
Okay.
There are a few others that I think you're going to get excited about.
All right.
I mean,
every
you've seen
day.
them.
So I got to get on Facebook every day.
You have to get on Facebook every day, my man.
Dude,
And you got to vote. Look,
I struggle getting on FaceTube once a month,
I'm posting it on the Nosebleed Sports podcast.
which is all the Facebook I got.
right, but I'm not I'm not submitting my
'Cause
vote
that's
on that
my
because
vote.
I
That's
want
my
you.
vote.
I want you to vote on it.
All right.
Now, so we're gonna every day. I'm gonna post these until we get to maybe either 8 or 4 left, and then we'll do it a week at a time.
Okay.
All right. So please remember to get on the Nosebleeds Facebook page and vote every day. It's usually later at night when I post these, but they're on for the entire next day. So jump on there, search Nosebleeds. That's all you got to put. Nosebleeds, 2 words. You'll find us. See our latest post, and click or tap or whatever on which poster you think is the cooler poster.
Gotcha.
That is my update for the Nosebleeds Sports Podcast.
I think it's a great update, and we already talked about the Home Run Derby. I think you're wrong. I think Bobby's wrong. I think the head-to-head is the greatest part about is the second best part about the Home Run Derby, and I love the timing. The time is what really changed the Home Run Derby. The Home Run Derby is already the best thing of any all-star event in all of sports, I think. And they only made it better. And I also believe that the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is the best All-Star Game because of the fact that it's just another game.
Yeah, it's the most like another game. It is.
There's no other All-Star Game in NHL, in MLB, in the NBA, in NFL. It's just another game.
Yeah. For the most part, it is.
I love the fact that people say a 4-3 game is boring in the All-Star game because it was great to me. I had a blast watching the best pitchers come up against the best hitters, and they're both doing what they do best. It's not the NBA where you just run up and throw alley-oops. It's not the NFL where you're not even allowed to tackle anymore. You'd touch people. It's not hockey where they don't play defense like they play defense in the NHL for real. I enjoy the fact that you get to watch the best of the best playing the game, and they play hard. Mm-hmm. And maybe not the hardest, but they play pretty hard, and they want to win. They want to win the game, and it's just fun. And the youth in baseball today makes it even better.
That baseball is in great hands. I'm telling you, it's going to be a great game.
Mike
for a
Trout,
long time.
Christian Yelich, good night. You go Acuna Jr.,
the guys
Vlad
that are 20 years old. Yeah,
the finals of the Home Run Derby was 2 rookies.
Yep,
Pete Alonso. I mean, good night. How awesome is that? So, no matter what happened last night in the finals, the winner was going to be the youngest champion ever in a Home Run Derby.
Right.
No matter what happened.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I love every second of it.
It was cool. Yep, and we differ on the opinion about, and you can tell me I'm wrong. You can't tell me Bobby Nightengale Jr. is wrong though. But no, in all seriousness, it's just your
Good
opinion
for you.
about
You
it.
finally got somebody come on the show and agree with you. Long time for it to happen, but they finally agreed with you.
You're right. Now we can bring somebody on when we talk women's soccer, and everybody's going to disagree with me again. So that's going to be
all
fun.
right. So hold on a second. If you are a Nosebleed Sports Podcast fan, and you know soccer, don't call me up if you just watched the World Cup. Don't call me up if you just think you know a little bit about something. Hit us up if you know soccer. And if you're a podcast fan, I know who you are, and I know the ones that know, and I know the ones that don't. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to get on your FaceTube. I'm going to go back and see your posts. I'm going to check your tweet box.
Let me translate.
See what you've been tweeting
FaceTube
on.
means Facebook.
Yeah, I'm going to see what you've been tweeting about. I'm going to see what the Twitter spheres got for you, and I'm going to know if you're really a soccer person. And if you are, I'm going to have you on, and I want to know. And we're just going to sit back and listen to Adam, see what he has to say, and disagree with him.
I am already thinking of 3 people that I know listen to this podcast that are big soccer people.
Let's draw straws. Let's figure it out.
Draw straws. Okay.
We got one guy who's a college soccer coach or a high school soccer coach, a former college soccer player. Big soccer guy that listens to the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know another guy that's a soccer coach, a high school soccer coach right now.
Dude, I'm telling you right now.
Listens to the podcast.
All right, let's make it happen. Let's get one of you two. Hit us up. I'm really excited to hear how annoyed I'm going to get with Adam.
You are. You're going to get so annoyed with me.
I already hear you being upset about Morgan sipping her teacup or whatever she did. I watched that, and I was like, that was funny as all get out. I don't want to get into it. Don't do it.
No, we don't have time for it.
Don't do it. All right.
We don't have time for it.
We don't have time for it. And if you go to the BMV, just remember, smile. All right, just walk in and smile. It makes everybody else's experience at the BMV better.
Tell me this. You said you're going to do a background check on people if they claim to know soccer. Joe Leonard says he knows soccer. Does he know soccer?
I got to do a background check. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll do a background check and find out. I know he's got somebody that follows him that knows soccer.
Just checking on you, Joe. Just checking up on you.
I'll check up on it. We'll make it happen. We could get Joe on for a second time. That could be what happens.
Yep.
And that would be great. And it may be the final, but all I know is we're going to disagree with you, and it's going to happen next week.
We can find out if he's still throwing baseballs at people's heads.
That's exactly hitting people in the head with a baseball, not almost hitting them in the head with a baseball. Hitting them in the head with a baseball.
Premeditated,
First pitch,
too.
Reds. Joe Leonard, look it up. It's on YouTube. It's on the Nosebleeds Facebook page. Joe Leonard throwing a first pitch and hitting a girl in the head.
On purpose.
At the Reds game. First pitch, hit her in the head. That's all I have to say. That's
Violently
all I have
on
to say.
purpose.
That's all I have to say. All I have to say. Put it up there with Mark Mallory.
Oh, man.
Was it Mark? Was it Mark Mallory? Was that dude's name? All right, good. Anyway, I don't know politics. So, yeah, let's do it. If you're a Nosebleed Sports podcast listener and you're a soccer guy or gal, let us know, man. We want you on the show. You're coming on the show next week. Let us know early. Get on early. Listen. We'll make the decision by Sunday.
So we're
Sunday or Monday that we'll make the decision who's coming on.
Make the decision by Monday.
All right, Monday. Make the decision by Monday who's coming on. And if we don't pick you, sorry.
So we're locked into having to talk about women's soccer next week.
Yes,
not
locked
women's
in.
soccer.
We're starting
matter.
it off, dude. We're starting it off
just
women's soccer. I love women's soccer, dude.
Okay, dude.
I just told you that I followed. Like, I got on Instagram. I signed up for Instagram just to follow some people that were on the soccer team so I could watch them celebrate.
In the moment, in 2 months. It's gonna be you're gonna be like, I'm following these people.
But next week, I'm still all
and
about it.
And then in 4 years, you can follow them again when the next World Cup
You're
comes
exactly right. You're exactly right.
Oh boy! All right.
If you want to catch us, we're on iHeartRadio. We're on iTunes. We are.